A very good day to everyone that's watching this video. My name is Mustafa. I'm from FeedbackFruits, together with Mustafa. And today we're going to share the success stories that Georgia State University and FeedbackFruits have had over the past years already, Mustafa, I think, regarding self and peer assessment. This is what we're going to talk about. That's scaling self and peer assessment within Brightspace to enhance 21st century skills. Use case with Georgia State University. We're going to be the conference, of course, in Boston. So please don't forget to stop by the booth and get a cup of coffee and a chat with us. Now, the agenda on today's conversation, I'm going to provide a small introduction to FeedbackFruits so you have a basic understanding, after which we'll dive into specific solutions and self and peer assessment. After that, I'm going to hand it over to our expert, Mustafa, who's going to showcase the success of Georgia State University. Then we'll have a conversation about what's coming up in terms of the relationship between FeedbackFruits and GSU. And then we'll have some closing remarks. Now, meet the team, as I said before. So I'm already talking. So my name is Max de Graaf. I'm team lead business development here at FeedbackFruits. Yeah, Mustafa, if you want to introduce yourself quickly.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Mustafa Elsawy, and I'm a learning technology specialist at Georgia State University. And I'm thrilled to be here.
Very much thrilled that we can do this together today, Mustafa. It's very exciting. With that being said, I'm going to provide a small overview on FeedbackFruits. Why FeedbackFruits? We focus on the learning experience because we believe that is a unique selling point of every institution and of higher education in general. We put new within brackets because a lot of institutions are now focusing on the learning experience. We believe that has been for years already. FeedbackFruits has actually been around since 2012. We actually celebrated our 10 years last week, Thursday. In essence, FeedbackFruits is an all-in-one Brightspace integrated tool suite. And at FeedbackFruits, we have the mentality of pedagogy first and technology second. And the result of this is basically an LMS tool suite that has been designed and developed over the past years. And that's fully customizable or fully integrated into D2L Brightspace. But we'll touch upon that. Because this is first, we at FeedbackFruits want to stop from happening. That's traditional course design with less engaged students, let's call it that. I know it's a very traditional course design. I know that nobody is basically teaching in this fashion anymore, but it does highlight where we want to move away from. And that's course design where articles have to be read and lectures to attend. And then the engagement basically comes with it. What we are doing is basically replacing those learning activities with more pedagogical innovation. So then in the end, today, for example, is talking about peer review, that we can have students engaging at more times throughout the course so that in the end, we get an increased student engagement by implementing active learning designs with an engagement graph that basically reflects learning better. That's in general the essence of what we want to establish with FeedbackFruits, more active learning designs. Now, then what is FeedbackFruits? We try to make it bite-size ready as possible. Because FeedbackFruits LMS tools add a pedagogical layer over asynchronous courses for instructors to use within Brightspace, entirely intuitive and fully integrated. And the tools are designed for all course sizes and modalities, providing an inclusive learning experience for all students. If that's the thing you take away from today's video, that'd be highly appreciated. When we basically open up this LMS tool suite, we see that FeedbackFruits tool offering basically focuses on three separate brackets. So the first is feedback and assessment, the second is collaborative learning and student discussion, and the third is synchronous learning activities. These solutions can also be used for synchronous activities, but in general, they're more used for asynchronous learning. We'll be focusing on these three specific solutions, so all about self and peer assessment. What I would like you to take away is that FeedbackFruits offers a lot more. We try to focus on the generic learning activities like student discussions, presentations, and annotation of study material, and obviously feedback and assessment, because that's in the name. But today we're focusing on the group evaluation, peer review, and self-assessment solutions, because that's the first step of the implementation at Georgia State University. Now, but why is self and peer assessment then important? I know I'm just going to read out the slides, but I think it's important because it's collaborative construction of knowledge. Because when students can collaborate with each other, they can tackle more complex problems than they would do on their own. Research has basically proven. We've been talking about engagement a lot. We believe that self and peer assessment is an engagement improver, where collaboration and self-reflection activates students and boosts accountability. At the same time, it provides insights into the group dynamics. As a faculty member, you can now digest very easily, very quickly, how specific students are behaving within group work. And with detecting outliers, it's relatively easy to spot perhaps a free rider or an overachiever or an underachiever. In the end, which is becoming more and more important every year, is fostering career readiness. Because self and peer assessment are highly effective in developing key competencies, such as critical thinking, collaboration, and of course, communication. I just want to give you a small look and feel. Mustafa is going to showcase how FeedbackFruits is basically integrated in their environment. What you see on the left is our peer review tool, basically within an iframe, within a Brightspace environment. And basically just quickly, you see a student basically providing feedback on the work of another student or another group based on a set of criteria that has been put in by the instructor. What you see on the right side is a group member evaluation, a group evaluation activity, where also a student is providing feedback to himself, James in this case, on a range of criteria, and to that one of the peers in the group, Mary, on the collaboration process, because that's on the team skills. This is just a little bit of look and feel. I want to give you the idea of how our software basically looks within Brightspace. Now, Just a few highlights that support student learning for these three specific solutions. Obviously, group synchronization, because it's important if you want to scale your education and group work, that the groups that you've set up in D2L Brightspace automatically sync into FeedbackFruits. We can do personalized grading and outlier detection, which I highlighted already a little bit. Multiple deadlines, which is important in terms of intentional learning design. Anonymity, specifically for those first year, second year students. Extensive assessment options. So it's not just a formative solution, but you can also make it into a summative solution. Learn analytics for faculty to basically track the progress of students. And of course, student reflection, because the reflection component is key in students' understanding and learning. There's a lot more to talk about, but I don't want to talk about features here. I quickly want to highlight that FeedbackFruits is GDPR, FERPA compliant, accessibility, WCHG 2.1, fully compatible. Yeah, this is something important that we always need to say. But with that being said, I do want to basically stop talking and actually give the floor to Mustafa and actually share some of the experiences that we've had together over the past years.
Okay, great. So hello again, everyone. Well, what I would like to do first is I would like to give a little bit of background on how we decided on FeedbackFruit and how we got here. So Georgia State University is a huge institution. It actually used to be two different institutions, a research university and a community college, and then they combined them together. So right today, we have about 55,000 students. We are one of the largest institutions in the Southeast. And a lot of our faculty like to use project work activities or group projects in their teaching because, the purpose of education is to prepare the students for the real world. And that is the real world. People work in groups. They have to show responsibility, punctuality, leadership, and we have to train them on all these skills that they will need in the future. We started looking for a tool that can take care of group member evaluation. There was always a need for that because as long as there are group projects, faculty wanted to know, make sure at least that no one is getting a free ride and the students get a chance to evaluate each other and to also provide constructive feedback for each other because that's the whole point in a group project or a group activity. So the need was there, but things were kind of like everybody was doing their own initiative. Everybody was handling team member evaluations in their own way. And most of these ways were time consuming and not very efficient. Now, when COVID hit and the pandemic, and we had to move pretty much all our courses online, the need for such a tool became quite obvious, increasingly obvious, and it was brought into the spotlight. And a lot of faculty were asking for help in that area. So we started looking for solutions. First, we tried solutions like using spreadsheets, Word documents, the students populate them, and then the faculty will download them and compile them and try to come up with a score for each student. That was extremely time consuming and it was not accurate also. We tried tweaking some of the D2L tools to serve that purpose. But again, as good or as great as D2L is, actually, it's a very robust system. But, the tools were not designed for that purpose. We're trying to, use them to do something they were not designed to do. So that was not great either. So we started actively searching for a third-party tool that will enable our faculty to do team member evaluations and also will integrate with D2L seamlessly. We didn't want anything like separate from D2L. We want something that will work with the system and will send the grades to the gradebook and all of that because we are not trying to create any extra work for our faculty. We use D2L for everything, assessments, grades. So we want to keep everything within the D2L ecosystem. So we looked at three different tools. One of them was FeedbackFruits. The other tools, one of them looked more like a project management system that was tweaked to serve as a team member evaluation. So it was not really designed specifically for that purpose. The other tool was outdated. The interface was more like 1985 or something, and the support was not impressive. So we decided on FeedbackFruits. Now, why did we decide on FeedbackFruits? A number of reasons. Number one, the seamless integration with D2L. It syncs with the groups tool So faculty don't have to recreate those groups from scratch. It also integrates with the gradebook. So, when the student receives a grade, it goes straight to the gradebook or to the grades tool. So the faculty don't have to do that manually. And it also integrates with the calendar. When you have deadlines and stuff, it will put that on the calendar in D2L. So that was a very important factor in our decision. Now, other factors include the super friendly user interface for students and for faculty. And I will demo that shortly. I'm trying to say so much and cover so much, so I'll try to make it quick. But also, I got some notes here. It's highly customizable and modularized. So if you want students to write a reflection at the end, that's fine. You can keep it. If not, you can remove that module. If you want them to rate the reviews they received, you can do that. If not, that's fine. You can also configure the grades, the grade breakdown. So you can put more value on providing feedback or more value on reading those feedback that they received, the ratings they received from their members. So the grading is very customizable. The steps or the phases themselves, what they do first, what they do second, all of that is very customizable. The anonymity also is very important because the students will feel more comfortable providing honest, sincere, and constructive feedback if they know it's anonymous and their peers don't know that they are the ones saying that. And we also, we encourage them to, and we also, coach them on how to provide constructive feedback, even if they disagree or they have something like negative, but they need to also provide constructive feedback. And their objective should be to benefit the person receiving the feedback, not to criticize them or, say anything negative about them for the sake of it. So we make sure that we get this point to them. And as a matter of fact, FeedbackFruits is great in this area because it also provides, it displays random feedback tips, like, make sure that you're rating the writing, not the writer, things like that. So that's very helpful. Also, it's fully automated. So the faculty don't have to do any calculations or add up scores or grades or anything. It will take care of all of that and send it to the gradebook. It's transferable and shareable. If you create an activity, you can transfer it from one course to another, from one semester to another, and you can share it with other faculty as well. So no need to reinvent the wheel. Once you create it, you can continue to use it and even share it with other people. So that that can be very helpful on department level. There are certain departments that where faculty have a lot more collaboration and they share activities like that with each other because it saves them a lot of time. And also the great support. I definitely appreciate the chat feature. I would be in the middle of an assignment or something and I have a question or I'm not sure how to do this or how to do that or why this is happening. I will click on that chat feature and in my experience, even though it says that you get an answer to your question within like 3 minutes or 5 minutes, in my experience, I got an answer to my question within less than a minute. I had somebody chatting with me anytime, 24/7, and I'm very, very happy. That is something that I don't know if everybody pays attention to that, but getting support, getting reliable support when you need it is priceless, really. That's my opinion and that's my experience. So that the reliable support was another important factor, and anonymity and also the seamless integration with D2L were among the major factors why we decided on FeedbackFruits. That said, I would like to share my screen and show you a quick demo of a FeedbackFruits activity here. Also, by the way, I forgot to say that we started searching for a team member evaluation tool, but right now we are using that, but we're also using the peer review tool and we are using the self-assessment. Today, I will try to show the team member evaluation tool and the peer evaluation tool. This is our test environment, so none of the names and the stuff that you see here is real. I'm not violating any FERPA regulations or any of that. So we're not sharing any sensitive information here. I created a shortcut to go straight to the FeedbackFruits activities. Okay, so here is an example of a team member evaluation activity. We're going to take a quick look at it. So I think the best way to look at it is to go to the edit view and see. We're going to try to act like we are creating an activity. So I'm going to go to edit here and I'm going to put it in full screen here. So basically here is where you write your title. course, my title is too generic. So in an actual activity, we probably need to use a more descriptive title. And again, my instructions here are unfortunately generic. I have better examples, but that was the first one I created. So my instructions here are very generic. The group assignment is one of the features that I love about this tool here is, okay, so basically, since I'm doing this after the fact, so I'm not going to be able to change them, but I hope you guys can see this on the screen. I am setting this for the students to work individually to evaluate people within their groups. So I'm going to say done. And if I go to configure groups here, as you can see, we have several configurations, but these groups already existed in my D2L groups tool before I created this activity. So it detected that, and it asked me which of these group categories would you like to sync with. So I chose this here, and I can click on it. I can see the different groups. And if I click on any of these groups, I can actually see the students in each group as well, if I need to. And once that is done, as you can see here, it's saying that I have 8 groups with a total of 38 students. So I'm going to say done. So I think this is a very useful feature to have FeedbackFruits sync with your existing groups and not have to create that from scratch. Definitely, that makes it a lot more user-friendly. Okay, so now the given reviews, this is where the students provide review for each other or feedback to their team members. Now I want to click on here and show you what we have here. It's great to be able to structure the review. In other instances, or what some faculty were doing before that is they were just telling the students to provide like an overall feedback. Was that team member useful, helpful? What please mention specific examples, stuff like that. But I like the fact that I can get the students to provide structured feedback. I'm providing them with some scaffolding. Okay, guys, these are the criteria. This is what I want you to look at. This is what I want you to use to evaluate your team members on these specific criteria. These are the skills that I'm looking for, and this is what I expect the students to learn from this activity. So you can put your own criteria here, but you can also add open-ended questions like here, overall feedback. I'm asking them to, of course, if I click on the question, I have, like this is the prompt here. It's a little more detailed than just the title. It says describe the overall contribution of this team member and how he or she helped or distracted the rest of the team. Please use actual examples. I'm asking them to enter at least one comment here because I want to make sure they write something. So I'm going to say, click here, go back to look at my criteria here. And if I click on edit section, as you can see, here are the criteria and here are the performance levels. And I like the fact that I can put a 0 here because like when you review something on Amazon and you really hate it, but you have to give them 1 star. No, you don't have to worry about that here. You can put a 0 if you want to. So 0 for strongly disagree and 1 for disagree and so on. I have a 5-point scale here. Of course, you can swap, agree or disagree or, with any other levels that you want. And you can definitely provide a more detailed description of what it means to agree on this particular criterion, for example. And comments are optional, so you can totally disable it here, or you can make it, optional. If they can write if they want. If they don't feel like it, they don't have to. Or you can say, I want you to write at least 1 comment here. So that I really like the flexibility. So many options. You get to do what you want. You get to structure it the way you want. And I can always add criteria here. If I click here, and I can always add other sections. So if I, for example, all the criteria here lend themselves to this 5-point scale, but what if I want something that's yes or no? I can create another section with all the criteria that requires yes or no, or adequate, inadequate, like that. So that is great too. So I definitely like the fact that you're helping the students, but by telling them what criteria they look for when they evaluate each other and the system. It's a lot more organized than having the students write whatever they want. Then you put your deadline here. I also like this feature here is when the students see the feedback they receive. For the purpose of this demo, I made it immediately, but usually when I work with faculty, I recommend that they do it after the review deadline to make sure that all the students left the reviews and nobody gets discouraged, not leave reviews if they don't like the reviews they received. So I'll leave it as immediately here for this particular purpose. But like I said, I usually recommend after the review deadline. And definitely I want every student to review all the members in their group, not the entire class, of course. And I'm not going to look at all the settings here, but self-assessment, do you want them to assess themselves or not? I'm in this situation, or in this particular case, I want them to assess themselves, hoping that they will be more objective. But some faculty think that they will overrate themselves, and that can skew the feedback of their score. So it's totally up to the instructor here. I like the fact that you can make the reviewer anonymous. So I don't know who's reviewing me. I'm just reading what they said. And also it offers feedback tips. And you can see some of these tips that we discussed here to make sure that students are being objective in their reviews. Detect the outliers also. It uses artificial intelligence to look for any patterns that show like there is a split in the group, or somebody is overrating themselves, or somebody is underrating everybody else to make themselves look good. It does detect that, and I wish I had more time to go over that. It can be very useful because as a faculty member, you're not going to look at every group and every review, but if you see certain outliers, you see like this guy is underconfident. Okay, then you can zoom in on that and see why this person is underconfident. So that's another feature that can save you time, so you don't have to look at every single review. Okay, so the received reviews, I chose that they see their reviews as soon as the deadline is over. And here I'm asking them to write a reflection at the end. Now, if I don't want this module, if I don't want the reflection, and I think that's the whole point in the activity. I want them to reflect on the overall experience and the reviews that they receive. But some faculty, for the sake of time, they prefer to not use this module. You can delete it completely, and you don't have to worry about the students writing reflection. In my case, I mean, as an instructional designer, I think it's important. I think it's the whole point. So I included this module here, and I put a deadline for it, like that's a few days after the deadline for submitting the reviews. And I'm just, telling them here to kind of reflect on the overall experience, asking them to write at least 50 words. Grading is extremely flexible. So right now, I'm saying that they get 20 points for 20%, basically, because it has to be graded out of everything, has to add up to 100%. So I'm asking that they get 20% for completing the giving feedback, 60% based on the ratings they receive from their peers, and 10% for reading the received feedback, and another 10 for writing that reflection piece at the end. And as you can see, I'm not able to change. I mean, I can click on configure, but the fact that I already, or for the fact that I already have submissions here, I'm not going to try to change any of that. I'll just leave it alone. If I believe if I change these ratings and regrade, it will reflect that on their grade, but I'm going to say done for now. Okay, so that's pretty much it for creating an activity. And as you can see, it's pretty straightforward and easy. And by the way, when you are creating a new activity, there is an option to use an existing activity as a template for this new activity that you're creating. So that's a huge time saver. I'm going to say save here, even though I didn't change anything. And I also want to get out of full screen because I would like to show you something else here. As you can see, I can add a grade item here, and the grades will go to the gradebook, just like any external learning tool. Now, let me show you that from, I will actually show you that from a student perspective momentarily, but since we're here anyway, let's look at it from a teacher or an instructor perspective. Here, for example, I can click on this drop down and it will show me everything, who left feedback, who read the feedback, who did not. This is for the entire group, and this is for every person. So this person here, Andrea, left 4 feedback to her peers in a group of 5. That's that's good. She did the self-assessment, and of course, she read the instructions, all of that, and she got an overall score of 81.7%. And again, these other students did the same thing. And I can also download the entire thing as an Excel spreadsheet, and it gives you tons of data, not just the scores. So if somebody is doing research and want to use this data for like a presentation or something, you can definitely benefit from the plethora, the plenty of data that you can find in that spreadsheet. So I'm gonna shrink this back here, my instructions, and I can click on view all here also and view like a map, if you will, of the entire class. So these are the criteria here. This is the one about punctuality, for example. And if I hover over it, just leave my mouse there for a second, it will show me the entire criterion. These are the levels here, and it shows me the different students here. So this guy here, Diane. So you can click on each student and see the reviews that they gave and the reviews that they received. And you can see their score here as well. And you can also see how they assessed themselves. Let me go back here. These are the received reviews. Also, you can click on a particular group, or you can just expand it and look at, zoom in on any student and click, for example, like this is one of the outliers. It says, it appears that team members have split into two non-cooperating groups where there is a protective insider rating. You know, it just, you know, uses artificial intelligence to detect patterns like that. And then I can zoom in on that particular group and see what's going on. Did you guys get along with each other? Was there a problem? You know, anything I can do to help you? All of that, and so on. Okay. So as you can see here also, you can see everybody's score, what they finished, what they did not finish. I can also publish the grades manually, or I can set, or I can schedule a date for the grades to be published. Of course, that, you know, that date will have to be after the right reflection piece and everything. So super friendly. If I have a question, I can always click on here, and it says that I can get an answer to my question in 2 minutes. And these guys are available 24/7 and very responsive. And they actually see what course I'm in, what assignment I'm in. I don't need to explain to them and, you know, tell them, oh yeah, I'm here, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. No, they know where you are, they know what you're doing. They can give you immediate, reliable support. And that's definitely appreciated. So we'll get out of full screen here. And let me go try to impersonate some of these students. So we have group 7 here, for example. We have Ulysses Rodriguez. This guy did not provide feedback yet. So I'm gonna go impersonate Ulysses or Marcus Singleton, and we'll see. So I'm opening this as an admin in a different browser. So let's take a look at this from a student perspective. And I'm going to this module quickly. Let's take it as Marcus here. This is the one. And also there is another notification here, very similar to the D2L notification, which I find very useful. If I click on it, it's going to say, consider Gray Lemon reviewed you. Of course, it's not going to say Mustafa reviewed you or Max reviewed you, because that's the anonymity thing, which I love it really. And then that's why they call it FeedbackFruits. So they get all these notifications here. It says you have an unfinished deadline in a month. You have an unfinished deadline, you know, so it's basically tells them what they need to do, and, you know, if somebody left a review for them. And then I am gonna go down. Let me put this in full screen here. These are the people in my group here. So as you can see, give feedback to yourself and the groups. It says that I have 18 days left to do that, so I can start reviewing. And again, this is my self-assessment here. So I'm just going to click on Start Reviewing. This is an explanatory screen, kind of like, you know, basically a quick demo for the students. So here, the first criterion, attended all meetings on schedule, all of that. I can either drag this like that, or I can just click on any point in here. This team member was punctual. Yeah, why not? I'm reviewing myself here, so I'm going to make myself look awesome. I hope the students don't do that. And, you know, a little bit of realism here. Here we go. And here, an overall feedback. This is required. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to say, just a quick thing. Of course, they can be more elaborate than that. And I'm going to say post. I'll click outside. It's done. Now I can click up here and move to the next person. The next person does not get revealed until I click on Start here. And I'm just gonna, go through it very quickly because I know I already took too much time. I know that I'm reviewing Ulysses right now, but when Ulysses look at the review, it's not gonna say that Marcus said that about you. It's probably gonna say beautiful gray lemon or something like that. So, and of course I have to put over all feedback. So I'm gonna say, you would expect the students to write a little more than that and something more elaborate and more specific, but this is just a demo. Okay, I go up again. The next person is here. So let me click on start. So who is this next person? It does not get revealed until you click start. So here, this is Fatima. Okay, so let's review Fatima. And for the feedback, I'm just gonna put, actually, you can reuse feedback that you entered before. So I think it's a very nice feature. You know what, not necessarily because you want the students to write something genuine every time, but it can be useful for like quick comments, not necessarily for the overall feedback. Like if you want to write a comment for any, like on any of the criteria here, you can reuse previously used comment. Okay, so here we go. Let me go back here. So the next person is Paul here. And that's it. I'm done reviewing. Here we go. Now, some people left reviews for me. As you can see here, it says that I completed all the reviews and I can download the reviews here. This is very neat, really. So the next thing is reading feedback that I received from my peers. So, and there is a 10% of the grade for this part. So as you can see, diligent choral pair. Let me see what this pair said about me. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to skip this explanatory screen. And this is what she said about me. She gave me all these ratings. And by the way, let me just go back here for a second. Here, you see all the reviews that you received compiled. So if you see a big dot like that, it means that 2 people or more gave you this rating. So these are the ratings I received from the group members who reviewed me so far up to this point. Here, one gave me 2, one gave me 3, and I have 2 comments here. I can click on them and read. So yeah, somebody said, of course, it doesn't say the actual person, say the gray lemon, great to work with. And the other person, the choral pair, said that great team member. Oh, so far so good. And then I can look at individual reviews by individual people, or, of course, it's showing the it's masking the names here with the fruit names. So this choral pair said, gave me 4s here on these. I got a 2 point here, 2 points here. And she left a comment. I can click to read the comment. Yeah, fine, okay. And the next person here. So as you can see, it's very easy to, very user-friendly, as you can see here. And so I provided feedback. I read the feedback that I received, and I need to write a reflection piece here. So I'm gonna say, it's not enough what I wrote so far. So maybe I need to write another sentence or so. Okay, I hope that's enough now, so I can submit. And so far, it's showing that I got 91.3%. And the reason it's not 100% is, of course, that not everybody gave me the full score on all the reviews. Plus, there are 2 more people that will still review me, so hopefully my grade will go up after the other team members review me. So that is what it looks like from a student perspective. As you can see, very easy, like drag and drop. Drag the slider. It's just super easy, really. So here we go. And I'm going to get out of full screen. Okay, so that is what team member evaluation looks from a student perspective. Can I very quickly take a look at the peer review? Okay, so what I like about the peer review, or what makes the peer review in FeedbackFruits stand out from other peer review tools out there is, number one, it allows the students to submit more than one thing. It's not just a paper. They can submit more than one paper, like 2 papers. They can submit a paper and a video. They can submit a website. So it accepts different formats, and it's not limited to one deliverable. They can submit multiple deliverables here. So let me go ahead and click on the edit very quickly to show you what options are available here. So here is my title, my instructions, and individual assignment. So we're asking them to work as individual, and they're gonna evaluate each other's individually, no groups here. And these are the submissions. I'm asking them to submit a document and a video. This is the deadline for submission and the settings. Let me see. I am allowing them, I'm asking them to submit a minimum of 2 deliverables. I'm accepting documents, I'm accepting videos, and I'm accepting websites. I don't need images or audio or any of that. And I am not allowing late submissions here. So let me take that back. Okay, given reviews. So feedback criteria, again, I love the fact that you can get them to do like structured feedback. So I'm asking them to evaluate their peers based on the thesis statement. This is an English composition class, by the way. So it is a management class, but I was creating this demo for an English composition teacher. So the criteria here are related to writing essays, basically. So thesis statement, format, subordination, logical progression, depth of detail, grammar and mechanics. And I'm asking them also to write overall feedback here. I'm not going to go over all the criteria. Let's just get out of here. And I'm allowing them to see the reviews immediately. Of course, in an actual activity, it will be after the review deadline. That's my recommendation. And I'm asking each student to review 2 peers. And I think you learn things best by teaching them. So if you get to provide feedback for somebody on the writing, that will make your own writing better. So I thought 2 students here would be a good idea instead of like 1 student each. We don't want them to do self-assessment in this case. And submitter anonymity, reviewer anonymity, feedback writing tips, completion checklist, because before they submit it, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. So all these are good things. So I selected all of them. Received reviews, you can have them rate the reviews they received. I thought it was an overkill in this case. It's just like a first draft of an essay, so it's not necessary in this case. And grading here, I'm giving them 30% for submitting their work, 50% for completing feedback, and 10% for writing comments, and 10% for receiving feedback. Just wanted you guys to take a quick look at that. Here, let's take a look at the submissions. So as you can see, the students here submitted reviews. So we click on Regan, for example. So these are the papers that she submitted. I can take a look at her video, and I can take a look at her paper. Let me go back and let's see. Okay, so these guys completed reviews here. So let me click on, what's her name? Damilola. Okay, so she reviewed 2 people. Here she reviewed this person and this person here, and I can click on the reviews and see what she said about the different criteria and all of that. So long story short, this is a very user-friendly tool for the faculty and for the students, and it integrates with D2L seamlessly, and much less work on the part of the instructor compared to other approaches that we tried in the past. I hope that you guys find this useful, and I'm sure Max can provide my contact information at the end of this presentation. If anybody needs to reach out and take a deeper look at this, I will be very happy to do that.
Thank you, Mustafa. And it's always very exciting to be in a call with you like this, because the energy that you bring to the table is something that we sometimes can all learn from. Thank you so much for further showcasing how you've utilized it and how you're also training your staff in order to support the faculty. And what I personally very much enjoy is that the adoption at Georgia State University is going very organically. How do you see that organic growth basically progressing in the future?
I see it growing exponentially. I mean, if just by looking at where we started and where we are now, even though it was just a pilot, we have a lot more faculty using it, a lot more courses. The students are used to it, they expect it now. It's part of our system. If they know that, at least they believe that FeedbackFruits is part of D2L. Because it's integrated. We have a lot of faculty using it. So the fact that we officially adopted FeedbackFruits now, and it's not a pilot anymore, I definitely expect a lot more adoption. Also, word of mouth. Faculty talk to each other. They have meetings. They have like department level conferences and stuff like that. And if somebody knows about the tool that is useful and efficient and saves a lot of time, they will definitely share that with each other. I have a lot of new users contacting me. I'm not going to say on daily basis, but at least maybe once or twice a week, somebody, an instructor I haven't heard from before, they say, "Hey, Mustafa, I heard that you can help me use feedback and, for peer reviews or for team member evaluation or something." So the numbers are increasing, and I definitely see a lot more faculty using FeedbackFruits in the future.
No, thanks for that. That's also our expectations, of course. And it's just very heartwarming to see also how it's being implemented and the quality that basically comes forward. And also our students are reacting to it. So that's very cool. Next to the self and peer assessment, solutions around group work and around peer review and work. Is there a specific tool in the FeedbackFruits tool suite that you're also looking forward to have a next look at?
Absolutely, yes. Assignment review, definitely. Self-assessment, I can see us using that. Interactive video, I actually would like to start exploring that for some of our American Sign Language teachers, because they like to be able to leave feedback on the video timeline. And I think this will come in very handy for them. Eventually, I'd like for us to use all the tools because they all serve pedagogical objectives here. They basically cover a whole myriad of objectives. Definitely, I would like to see us using all of them, but in the near future, I definitely would like to look at assignment review, self-assessment, and interactive video.
Lovely. Mustafa, it's been a great pleasure doing this video together with you. Thank you for your time. And more importantly, thank you for all your commitment over the past years that we've been collaborating. Yeah, I look forward to basically doing the next steps in terms of our collaboration. And I'm also looking forward to all the people that are watching the video now and that we're going to meet at the conference in Boston. I think that is the end of this video. Like what Mustafa said is if you ever want to get in touch, you can also just contact us directly, either via our website or send me a direct email via max@feedbackfruits.com, and then I'm sure that we can get in touch. Mustafa, thanks again. And to all that are watching the video, thank you so much for watching the video. I'm looking forward to connecting. Thanks.
Thank you. And the pleasure is mine. Y'all have a wonderful day.